Hi everyone, and welcome to our Faster Way to Fat Loss Macro Tracking 101 training. We are so thrilled to have each and every one of you here. As you're joining this training or catching the replay, please comment below and tell us where you are calling in from and whether you are team sweet or team salty. Sweet or salty, let us know in the comments below. My name is Amanda Tress. I am the creator and CEO of the Faster Way to Fat Loss.
And my name is Bergin, and I'm a pro trainer with the Faster Way to Fat Loss.
Now, as you are joining this training or catching the replay, comment below. Tell us where you're calling in from and whether you are team sweet or team salty. We do have some prizes for those of you who interact with us live or catch the replay and participate. Some of those prizes include our brand new Faster Way sandbags. Woo!
It's heavy.
This is a little heavy.
It's heavy.
This is our 15-pound sandbag. We also have a 25-pound sandbag. You'll be in the running for these sandbags if and when you participate in this training. Lee, tell us about some of the other prizes that we have on the line.
We have an entire bag of strength resistance bands.
So great.
Okay, I am telling you. And then we have a little bag of mini bands.
Yes.
And we also have a cloth resistance band.
Awesome.
These are all great for muscle building, I promise, and toning it up.
Perfect. We also have our Fast Away tote bag. So again, if you comment below and you tell us where you are calling in from and whether or not you are team sweet or team salty, you will be in the running for some of these prizes. We have our tote bag, we have our bands, we also have our sandbags. So very, very exciting prizes. We want to hear from you below. We are going to dive in and speak about all things macros. And I have to say that, listen, 10 years ago, I had heard of macros, but I truly was not sure how to use a macro method in order to lose weight, increase my energy, and experience sustainable physical transformation. I am so grateful for the Fast Away Macros method, and we'll talk about that. But if you are joining this training and you are very green to this concept of macros, you are in good company.
Yes.
Okay. Even other wellness professionals are very unfamiliar with the concept of macros or how to strategically track macronutrients in order to reach their goals. So whether or not you are 23 or 73 and listening to this training, maybe you have a good understanding of macros or you haven't even ever heard of macros, you are in good company. So we're thrilled to have you here. Let's just dive in and talk a little bit about your experience with macros, when you discovered macros, even before we tell our listeners what macros are, kind of what was that journey for you, Lee?
Yeah, and you know, I love what Amanda said. 10 years ago, this wasn't even a conversation.
Yes.
And right now, so many fitness professionals are showing you great workouts, but it's the macros that are the underlier.
Yes.
And so my journey was about, I'm going to say this, I'm going to say 30 years, okay?
Woo.
So the very first time I ever tracked a macro, the #1 song on the radio was I Want to Dance with Somebody by Whitney Houston. That was the #1 song on the radio, the first time I ever tracked a macro. And this is what I did when I tracked. I was 14.
Oh my God.
And I was in that same size. Okay, I will tell you that. So right now I'm not a size 14, but I was 14 in that size. I did not make the dance team. My aunt was a fitness professional in Belgium. That was very cutting edge, a European thing back then, right? And she said, don't eat bread, don't eat carbs. What's a carb? What's okay? Don't eat bread, don't eat. So I cut out bread, I cut out pasta, I cut out those things, and something happened. Fast forward, I'm in my 20s. I want to be a runner. I want to be a performance athlete. And I wasn't going very fast because I didn't have the carbs. So I needed the carbs. Fast forward into my 40s. How do I get rid of this adult acne? How do I get rid of these perimenopausal symptoms? I need fat. All three of them had a very important part of my life. And I wish I would have found out how to combine them versus taking the long way around.
Yes. Okay, so very simply, macros or macronutrients are the carbs, fats, and proteins that make up our food items, okay? Carbs, fats, and proteins. In the Faster Way, we implement a very strategic macro method where we are cognizant of the carb grams, fat grams, and protein grams that we consume on certain days of the week.
Yeah.
Now, we are not going to dive too far into the detail simply because we want to be sure that we empower you with the amount of information that is appropriate so that you can learn, but we don't want to overwhelm you with too many details on this particular training.
Right.
We will share some examples of healthy carbs, healthy fats, and healthy proteins as we go through this particular training. Very quickly, I want to share my experience with macros. I have been in the fitness industry for over 15 years. I started training clients when I was in college. And when I was in college, I would ask my clients to count their calories. Okay, I had some clients doing 1,200 calorie diets. Biggest Loser was extremely popular at the time. There was a deficit diet component to Biggest Loser. And I asked my clients to also work very hard with me in the gym through workouts a few times per week. Some of my clients were also training for endurance races. And what I started to experience is that my clients were hitting plateaus even though they were counting calories, okay? Some of my clients would transition to a paleo food log, a whole food diary, and they were still hitting a plateau. I personally had my first baby 10 years ago, over 10 years ago, crazy. I had my second baby 8 years ago. And after my second baby, I was personally struggling to burn fat. I was personally struggling to really see the body composition changes that I was hoping for. But not only that, my energy level was extremely low, okay? My energy level was so low. I remember a certain day that was kind of a low point for me. I was running around, training my clients, raising my 2 kiddos, helping some web marketing, digital clients also with websites and so forth. I was managing contractors at my house who were building a pool and a fence, and 2 p.m. hit, and Lee, I was so utterly exhausted that I had to call my husband home from work to come home and help me with the kids because I hit a wall.
Wow.
And this was happening quite often. I would hit a crazy wall at 2 p.m, 0 energy. And at the time I was using a paleo food log, no gluten, no grains. I was counting calories and I was exercising up to 7 days a week. And I knew that I needed to make a change, okay? I knew I needed to make a change, so I started researching many different strategies that I could implement in my own life. And one of the strategies that was becoming popular at the time across social media was the if it fits your macros strategy. I had seen many fitness professionals and even competitors talk about the if it fits your macro strategy. And at the time, I really thought it was reserved for people who wanted to be in a bikini competition up on stage, okay? A stage competition. But I thought, there's something to this. What if I just test this in my own life? Because what I'm doing now isn't working, clearly not working. So I started testing the if it fits your macros approach. I increased my carbs on certain days, I decreased my carbs on others, I increased my protein overall, I increased my healthy fats overall, and guess what? Not only did I see the body composition changes that I was hoping for and finally burn fat around my midsection, I increased my energy and my strength and felt better than ever before. Okay, with the macros method, which I now call the fast way macros method that we incorporate in our program, I was able to finally thrive, and I knew that I had a sustainable plan that I could follow long term.
I love that. I mean, you found a need for yourself.
Yes.
And when you can fix that need for yourself, how many of you are out there suffering through the same things? Right. And attributing it to age or attributing it to something else. There's some other reason. And we don't really take a deep dive into what we're consuming. Right.
I want to talk about the importance of carbs, the importance of fats, and the importance of proteins. But before we do that, I want you to know that you are unique, okay? You need a customized approach in order to reach your health and wellness goals. So what we share here and what works for me personally may not work for you in regard to macro splits. So I might share that I personally consume 100 grams of protein, as an example. We need to be sure that we customize an approach for you when it comes to a macros method, which is one of the reasons Fast Away Fat Loss is so highly successful.
Yes.
We look at each and every person as an individual. Bio-individuality is a word that we use quite often, okay? So you are unique, you are special, you have needs and goals that are different than mine, different than Lee's, different than Susie's, different than Nancy's. So as I share personal examples, I want you to be thinking in terms of, okay, I need to now customize an approach based on my own uniqueness.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah.
Let's dive into protein since I already referenced it. So why do we need protein and what is an example of healthy protein?
Absolutely, great question. And again, as a trainer, as a professional trainer, I've been doing this for a long time as well, and watching clients suffer saying, I want to get toned, I want to get toned, I want to get toned. And what they're saying, that translation is, I want to get lean tissue. I want to add muscle to my body, and then I want to keep it, right? So the protein is the macronutrient that will help your body as a building block create that lean tissue, and then you continue to consume the protein because you have a threshold now that can accommodate it, that will help you retain that lean tissue. Because I've worked very hard for these muscles and I want them to stay with me. So protein is that macro that is so important for building and retaining that tissue.
Yes. If you want to see body composition changes, you must be cognizant of that protein intake. We measure in grams. I already shared I have about 100 grams of protein. I'm actually slowly increasing that to build even more muscle. How many grams of protein do you typically consume?
Are you ready for this, Amanda?
I'm ready.
Let me tell you, Amanda is my trainer too. I'm between about 170 to 200 grams a day.
Amazing.
And it was not something that happened overnight, but understanding that I wanted to be toned, I gently, gradually increased that protein. So it's like the protein followed my training. So as I got stronger, the more I needed. So I lean into fish, all kinds of fish. I love grass-fed ground beef. I love chicken. I love shrimp. I love lean ground turkey. And I also love edamame, and I love beans. Those things have protein in them too. But I love some meat.
Wow, that is pretty incredible that you have 170 grams of protein. But listen, we can tell in a good way you have so much muscle. You are in your late 40s and still absolutely thriving and reaching those goals, crushing those goals. We do have tuna on the table.
We got tuna. I brought the tuna.
That's a good example
jerky
of protein.
Is easy too.
Jerky. We do have some Fast Away collagen here. Our Fast Away collagen and Fast Away protein will be available for sale very, very soon. So that's a great example. Many people ask me for protein bar recommendations. I don't have too many. I wish I had some fantastic protein bar recommendations. We give several within our Fast Away programming. The really cool thing about the Fast Away to Fat Loss is that we do hand out a meal plan that focuses on protein intake. So our clients who are following along with the meal plan tend to consume a good bit of protein in order to really earn or develop that lean calorie burning muscle so they can optimize or maximize their metabolism, which is so important. So let's talk a little bit about carbs, which is a controversial macro. It is absolutely a confusing and controversial macronutrient. Why do we need carbs, and what are some examples of healthy carbs?
Right. So like I said, Whitney Houston, during that time, carbs were set aside to be, not necessarily used because the focus was on some kind of temporary fat loss. And so a lot of times reducing one macronutrient is actually going to reduce the overall amount of food that you're eating. So I don't think I put those two things together. I was young, but understanding that the carbohydrates are the energy that I need to crush it in my workouts. The carbohydrates are going to help my muscles recover. So it's the combination of the protein and carbs that really have, I think, created to my success. I was not scared of them when I wanted to be fast and strong. I knew I needed that. So my favorite carbs, I love oatmeal.
I
love
steel
oatmeal.
I do. Gluten-free oats,
and
absolutely.
Rice is like this little fat incinerator on my body. Every time I really focus and lean into rice as my primary, my body is like, just, I eat it up. It's great. What are yours?
Oh, well, donuts.
There's that.
Donuts are not healthy carbs, so please do not go run out to Krispy Kreme to have a donut. No, I enjoy donuts on leg day in the faster way to fat loss because I like to replenish my glycogen stores, which is an important strategy that we implement in faster way. I do enjoy steel cut oatmeal. I love a good sweet potato. Sweet potatoes are some of my favorite complex carbohydrates for sure. When I eliminate carbohydrates personally over a long period of time, I typically experience unbalanced hormones. And suboptimal thyroid function. So for me personally, one of the reasons that, several years ago when I started doing the if it fits my macros approach and really being cognizant of macros, one of the reasons I did increase my energy and my strength and frankly my overall happiness is because I started incorporating more carbohydrates. I had eliminated grains and most carbs because, back then, carbs were the enemy and so many wellness professionals were preaching and trying extreme low carb diets. And keto and low carb diets, whatever you want to call it, Atkins has a place for particular people. So for example, someone with type 2 diabetes might consider an extreme low carb diet as a starting point. But for me and many of the women that we've trained, carbohydrates have been so necessary for thyroid function, for hormone balance, for happiness, and for energy to crush a workout.
And that goes back to that bio-individuality. So again, there is a place for every single person to find the right amount of carbs that you need. Again, I'm eating 200 and maybe more sometimes, but that's not for everybody. So again, we find out where those carbohydrates are fitting for you the best and go from there.
I'm having about 150 grams of carbs on a regular macro day. When I was breastfeeding, I increased a little bit more. On a low carb macro day, I'm about 50 grams, but when I was breastfeeding was closer to 75. But again, bio-individuality. If you consume too many carbs, you will gain weight. If you underconsume on carbs, you will have suboptimal thyroid function. You will gain weight.
That's exactly right.
Nail it with the perfect amount of these macros to meet your needs. Okay, we're not gonna sit here and say, oh yeah, we do 45, 30, 25, that's our split, and you should do XYZ, here's a cookie cutter program. That's not gonna work for you, okay? And if anybody tells you it will, they are incorrect. You need to run far, far away. We need to look at your personal needs, your personal goals, bio-individuality. Perhaps you are carb sensitive, okay? We need to assess your needs, and then we need to also be reassessing as we go. Before I get into two more about that rant and how important it is to realize that you are in fact unique, let's talk about fats, another controversial macro.
Well, so then after Whitney Houston, we got into Van Halen. Fats were off the table as well. I mean, again, I know you guys remember, many of you do, SnackWells and some of the fat-free. My grandmother, I remember, gave us an entire fat-free Thanksgiving. And we consumed it. I don't know how great it was, but it was trendy and it was something new. And, again, I wish I wouldn't have stopped with those fats. So fats are my hormone regulator. They are so great, again, for that cellular reconstruction. They are so great for keeping my hormones balanced. And as I age, I need that. I want my nails to be healthy. I want my skin not to sag. I want the combination. And fat also is great energy as well. So again, it's the perfect combination for you and how we can introduce them into your life so that you can have a balanced and productive life with energy.
And we do some higher fat days in the faster way to fat loss.
That's hard for me at the beginning.
Which sounds like an oxymoron, by the way. It's called the faster way to fat loss, and yet we tell some clients to do higher fat days. So examples of healthy fats would be this nut butter. We have our coconut oil over there as well. Avocados are an example of healthy fats.
I love
Other
cashews.
nuts, cashews are very high in healthy fats. So we are cognizant of those fats. Fat will not make you fat. So counterintuitive. Fat will not make you fat. If you don't get anything else from this training, fat will not make you fat. Having the 100-calorie snack packs, doing the low-fat dressings on your salad is not the answer, okay? We need to nail it with the perfect amount of carbs, fats, and proteins to meet your needs so you can really thrive through the day.
Yeah, and you know what too? Some of those macros that are infused with some other preservatives, you know, I mean, how do you make something fat-free that's supposed to be fatty taste good?
Yes.
There is a lot of stuff in there that tries to make it really highly palatable. And when you are over-consuming some of those things, your body's not absorbing those macronutrients.
Yeah.
This is nutrition. And when that nutrition gets blocked by something, excuse me, that helps you find better flavor, you're negating the value of those macros. So we lean into whole food nutrition as well.
Yes.
That allows us to get the benefits of those macros.
All right, I want to hear from you guys. Now that you've heard about macros, carbs, fats, and proteins, what is your favorite macro? Is it carbs? Is it fats? Is it proteins? Again, you heard me say I love a donut, but I also like healthy carbs as well. I would say my favorite macro is carbohydrates.
Yes.
What about you?
I'm going to say protein.
Protein.
And you know what? There's no wrong answer. So say what you like. We're going to find a way for it to work best for you. So say what you like. There's no wrong answer.
Yes, carbs, fats, or protein. And if you participate below, if you comment below, you are going to be in the running for some of these gifts that we've mentioned. I also want to draw your attention to a free resource that we have specifically for you. It not only has a summary of what we discussed today, but it also has a sample meal plan. And again, the really cool thing for our Faster Way to Fat Loss clients is that when they follow our meal plan, they are cognizant of these particular macros. They are consuming a good amount of protein. They are consuming a good amount of carbs, and actually they are carb cycling, which that's a whole other discussion that we're not getting
but
into
super
right now.
valuable.
Yeah.
And again, that's what I love about the Faster Way is the education.
Yes.
The education is where we begin. Everything begins with knowledge.
Yes.
So the more you know, the more empowered you are to make the best decisions for you as you continue to thrive and as your body continues to get strong and as you continue to sleep better and all these great new things that you thought were off the radar because you were aging. So that's what I love about that. We can find out about that later.
I'm going to add this free resource specifically for you in the comments on this training. I will also add it to the title when we pop up. You'll be able to download that free guide in addition to the sample meal plan. But really, the very best way to learn more about macronutrients, and not only that, to set macronutrients that will work for you based on your unique goals, is to join the Fast Way to Fat Loss 6-week program. This is probably one of the most valuable strategies that we share within our program. And again, we've empowered over 210,000 women and men to use our Fast Away macro method, which is the secret sauce.
Okay? It really is. It's the secret sauce. I love that. And again, that's changing in generation.
Yes.
So we as pioneers taking our community and taking people who don't understand through this journey is what, that's what I wake up for.
Yeah. If you want to learn the right amount of carbs, fats, and proteins in order to reach your goals, you can go to fasterwaytofatloss.com and join our 6-week program. We have a new client cohort starting on Monday. We only run our new client rounds once a month, maybe even a little bit less often than that. I think we have maybe 2 more rounds left this year. Okay, all throughout 2021, only a few rounds left. If you want to get healthy, fit, energized, happy, and strong this fall, go to fasterwaytofatloss.com. You can join us. We will train you on macros. We will set your macros for you. We will help you achieve those macro goals. We will also educate and empower you regarding intermittent fasting, carb cycling, which we referenced, whole food nutrition, and then we will pair your Faster Way macro method and your strategic food log with effective 30-minute workouts, which are so darn fun.
Yes, they are.
Quick and effective. We would love to have you. I am so confident in the value that we provide in the Fast Way to Fat Loss that your satisfaction is my guarantee or your money back. Okay, your satisfaction is my personal guarantee. I believe in the macro method. I believe in carb cycling. I believe in intermittent fasting and the value that we bring through this program. And I cannot wait to see you there. We're gonna have a lot of fun.
We are.
Woo! Well, it was great to see you. Again, comment below. Tell us your favorite macro, carbs, fats, or protein. Tell us if you are team sweet or team salty. I think you probably assumed I am team sweet with my love for donuts and salty with the protein. We hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you on Monday in our 6-week round. Bye, everyone.